Welcome to the $135,000 Budweiser Touring Players Championship, the Taylor Lanes in Taylor, Michigan, here outside of Detroit. Qualifying first this week, Mark Williams in the #1 spot. Tom Baker, who won 4 weeks ago at Rochester, qualified second. Billy Young Jr. of Tulsa, Oklahoma in the 3rd spot. And in the first match of the afternoon, the veteran Tom Milton goes against Ballard Jr. Ballard in search of his first PBA title. We're ready for match 1. Jay Randolph along with Earl Anthony. Happy to have you with us. Been a marvelous week here. High scoring, Earl.
Very high scoring, Jay. We can expect some more of that today on the telecast, I'm sure.
Here's Ballard. And Ballard leaves a 2-pin to start things off. Dell from down in Richardson, Texas, qualifying 5th with the 219.78 tournament average here this week.
The shot this week has been basically an outside shot near the channel. The players are trying to lay the ball down between the 2nd and 3rd arrow, swing it out near the 5 board, and they're getting a very sharp break on the back end. So we might see some very unusual spares this week and difficult spare shooting.
Ballard, his 4th year on tour, just 23 years of age, rolled a 300 game at the Bud Classic last week in Columbus, Ohio. Ballard going up against Tom Milton, 30 years old, qualifying 4th. And Milton leaves the 10-pin. Milton from St. Petersburg, Florida. 9th year on tour, his 2nd championship round appearance of the year.
As you see, Tom Milton, again, that same shot. He liked it when he released it. It was a good shot, but there's been a lot of 10-pins this week. Tom's going to switch balls, go across the lane, and again, the 10-pin has been a difficult shot. And he covered it very well.
Earl, here in the position round last night, saw a lot of 10-pins missed. You're correct. It's been very tough spare shooting here this week. 13 career championship round appearance for Milton.
The reason they're so tough, Jay, is there's a lot of oil up front, and it's a long way down the lane with the oil, but the back ends are very dry. The ball is breaking very sharply, and that makes it difficult to control the break point on the ball.
That's looking good. Milton wearing that elastic band over the right elbow.
He's been wearing that for the last 2 or 3 years, Jay. He hurt that about 3 years ago. He hurt his elbow and had a lot of problems getting in. He used to throw the ball quite hard. As you notice now, he throws it fairly slow. He only wears it now because it's comfortable. He doesn't have that elbow problem anymore. But it did change his style of playing the game.
Ballard is a little high, and he's got his hands full with that one.
Now, you take a look at that spare, and that's exactly what we were talking about just a few minutes ago. The difficult and unusual spares. As you see Dell Ballard at the foul line, he pulled that shot inside of his target. The ball just laid in the oil, went through the middle of the head pin, and look at that. The 3-6, 4-7, 10. A very difficult split. He's going to have to try to slide the 3-pin across to take out the 4-7. He got all the hard ones, Jay.
Very fine effort.
Excellent shot. There's been a lot of that this week, and we can expect to see some more today, I'm sure. Now watch the 3-pin go behind the 4 and get only the 7. That was close.
Ballard is 5'10", 170 pounds, from Richardson, Texas. He's down 16 pins. He's won better than 31,000 on tour this year. Got to hurry, and it did. Boy, did that turn quick down there.
They sure do, Jay. If you blink, the ball will be a foot left of where you looked the last time. It's really jumping on the back end, and like I said earlier, it makes it difficult on spares and tough for the players to keep the ball in the pocket area.
Has 2 in a row. He had back-to-back appearances in the championship round on the summer tour, and Milton up by 26 pins. $23,000 first prize in this $135,000 Budweiser Touring Players Championship. Tom Milton, Tom's mom, on hand today. And the 2-pin.
And Tom's happy with that leave, I'm sure, Jay, because he didn't make a good shot. As you notice, the other shots that he struck on were way out near the channel. This time the ball was about 3 or 4 boards inside of where he wanted it to be. So he didn't get the back end or the sharp break that he expected.
We'll be back with more action from Taylor, Michigan in a moment.
Holiday greetings from Budweiser. People who bring you Budweiser wish you and yours the very best of everything this holiday season.
Time was you could put a truck on the market and get by with just an ordinary guarantee. With Ford and Chevy, it's still that way. At Dodge, we put a standard 550 protection plan on every truck we build. Every truck we build. Now ask yourself, where would you rather be, back there with them or out here with Dodge? America's best back trucks are Ram tough, and that's guaranteed.
This Touring Players Championship is sponsored by Budweiser. Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By Dodge, America's best back trucks are Ram tough. By True Value Hardware, more than just a name, it's their way of doing business. And by Kodacolor VRG film, with color as realistic as the color of life. Here in Taylor, Michigan, Tom Milton left with a 2-4-8-10 here in the 5th. And he is open in the 5th frame. Ballard, open in the 4th frame, came back and struck in the 5th.
As you see, the spare that Tom Milton left here in the 5th frame, he's trying to go down the center of the lane, get the ball to break sharply on the back, doesn't quite get there. Almost an impossible spare. Again, the spares that they're leaving this week are very difficult to pick up.
Milton now has taken 2 of the 3 re-racks that he has allowed. 3 re-racks on the television finals, 4 in a normal match. Split city for Milton.
Again, that was a good shot Tom made there, and I'm sure he was happy with it at the point of release, but the ball is coming in behind the headpin so late when they get it out there near the channel. And anything can happen when the ball's that far. See the 5-pin just lay there. It doesn't go over to the 7 to carry the 7 out, which on that kind of hit it has to do. It didn't do it for Tom. Now he's got another, what you might call an impossible spare.
The goal posts. Speaking of goal posts, an NFL doubleheader on NBC tomorrow afternoon. You'll want to check your local listings for the games to be seen in your area. Ballard now with an opportunity to get very much back into this thing, down 10 pins. High, and he got it.
That's two great breaks in a row for Del Ballard. While we were away, he bowled his 5th frame, came in very light on the head pin, and the 3-pin fell forward, or excuse me, the 2-pin fell forward for his strike in the 5th, and now he crosses over in the 6th for the double. a big break for Del Ballard, and Tom Milton, after that 7-10 split's got to be thinking, what do I have to do to carry?
Ballard's second championship round appearance this year. That was a little high. He leaves the 3-pin.
They're struggling out there, Jay, and this has been one of the best pairs all week long throughout the center. It's one of the highest scoring pairs. You can see Del Ballard going the line. They can't seem to get that break point right, which, as I mentioned earlier, the lanes are very difficult to control the break point. The balls are hooking a little early or a little late.
Last night, the scores, for the most part, very high over on this side of the house. Ballard and Milton going at it in match 1. More in a moment.
True Value Hardware stores unravel the mystery of choosing great gifts for do-it-yourselfers with this Snap-it Power Surge Controller that protects valuable equipment. It's just $9.99. And this First Alert lamp timer senses dust automatically. It's only $11.99. Earn a $2 rebate from Rayovac when you give this 6-volt workhorse lantern, only $10.99. And remodel step-by-step with the Ortho Home Improvement Encyclopedia, just $14.88 at most True Value Hardware stores.
Every now and then, I compete in front of the whole world. Other times, I'm just out to have a good time with my family and friends. Wander up. That's why I got into bowling. Yeah, bowling. Fun, pretty good exercise. It's great. Best of all, you don't have to get a 10 to have a great time. All right. On the other hand, it doesn't hurt. So join the fun this weekend.
Who is the three-thing James? With all that quality behind his name, loco affordable. Tell me who is the three-thing James?
Try it. Feel the difference between Denerex and Head & Shoulders. Denerex tingles. Tells me it's doing more.
Both have dandruff medicine, but Denerex adds both an extra anti-itch medicine and conditioner, too.
Goodbye, Head & Shoulders. Hello, Denerex.
Back here in Taylor, Michigan, Milton has a strike in the 7th. And he leaves the 10. Oh, no, he didn't. I take it back.
That very soft speed that Tom Milton uses now that he's changed his game, and that very soft end-over-end rolls. You see the pin go across the lane, that's the head pin coming across. He hit the wall and came back across to got the 10.
Ballard, this one's got to hurry. Boy, Ballard has really got his problems.
He's completely lost out there, Jay, and he's had balls going through the middle of the head pin, crossing over, and this one, obviously, he gave it too much room and didn't get back. And the washout with company. The company being the 6-pin, a difficult spare.
A 1, 2, 8, 6, 10 leave.
Got a hook. And he's really surprised at the way that ball rolled down the lane. Now, he thought that ball would cross over in front of the head pin. You can see the confused look on his face. The ball just laid right in the pocket area. You see the ball, and he expects this ball to hook. And it's just stayed right there. And a lot of these problems are stemming from the fact that the players practice on the TV pair before the telecast, and they actually, because they bowl so much on them, change the shot. So it's a little different than what they've been bowling on all week long.
Earl, do you think it might be a good idea that they practice on another pair before they go to the TV lane?
Well, they used to get an hour on the telecast pair before the telecast, but now it's down to a half an hour to try to help that. You see Del Ballard's approach. He has good balance, but he does tend to get his shoulders back behind his sliding leg. When you do that, you cut the ball short sometimes.
Well, Ballard is in trouble against Milton here in this opening match. Milton up by 28 pins. Tom from St. Petersburg, Florida, has won $40,000 plus this year. Career earnings of better than $255,000. And the 10-pin standing. There is Bill and Adeline DiBiase, the proprietors of the Taylor Lanes. Wonderful folks. Detroit, sensational bowling area here. They love they're bowling in this part of the world. Milton up by 27.
He has this match pretty well in hand at this point, Jay. Any kind of a mark, and it's just about over.
Career TV record of 10-9 with a 222.3 average is in 12 appearances.
And another, as we mentioned earlier, the spares this week are going to be very difficult spares, again, because of the lane surface, making the ball break so far behind the head pin. And there's another example of that, the 2-8-10, almost an impossible spare for a right-hander. Some of the right-handers will actually throw the ball left-handed to pick this up, but Tom isn't one of those kinds, so it's a tough shot. He's looking to see what kind of count he needs to lock the match up. He actually has the match won right now, Jay. He doesn't need any more pins. He's got 175. He misses them all.
Well, Milton is going to end up with a 177. And he is the winner of this first match over Del Ballard. And it will be Milton who will be going up against Billy Young Jr. Tough go for Ballard, but there is Tom Milton, and he will be going against Billy Young Jr. Young, a very talented performer, 29 years old, from Tulsa, Oklahoma.
And Jay, bowling lost really a great friend with the passing of Steve Cruchon this week, a longtime editor and publisher of the Bowler's Digest and a member of the American Bowling Congress Hall of Fame. Our sympathies go to his widow, Dee Cruchon.
You might get caught out in the middle of nowhere with a dead battery, but I won't. This is a Delco maintenance-free battery, and when this green eye is showing, it means I've got all the starting power I need, up to 770 cranking amps. If you think your battery's fading fast, I'd start thinking Delco.
Now through January 3rd, get a $5 rebate on most Delco batteries. See a participating AC Delco retailer for details.
Never wait for trouble.
Smile.
The easy goes to 35 for pictures that you come alive.
35 millimeter? It's easy.
Kodak beyond 35.
Ta-da!
You just drop the film in. It almost loads itself. Then aim and shoot.
Have you ever seen a sharper baby picture?
I have.
Whichever one you want to choose, we've got the 35 for you. Kodak beyond 35.
It's a great shot.
Nothing to it.
NBC Sports World presents a gathering of the world's great figure skaters. Scott Hamilton, dance sensation Torville and Dean, Dorothy Hamill, and more. Relive the magic of the World Professional Figure Skating Championships on NBC Sports World.
Milton with a 177 over Del Ballard Jr. at 163. Ballard coming away this week in the number 5 spot with $5,500. And speaking of this week, as we always do on the fall tour, we take a look at the top 24. George Pappas and Walter Ray Williams, prominent non-cashers. They were 44th. Mark Roth finished 57th here this week. Bob Hanley picking up number 20. Marshall Holman in the number 18 spot.
Marshall had a chance, if he could have won this week, Jay, to maybe be in the running for Bowler of the Year, but it's just not that kind of week for him.
Steve Martin of Kingsport, Tennessee, has been very consistent this year. Big Mark Baker from Garden Grove, California. Ron Palumbi Jr., who was in the TV finals last week.
Little left-hander in the finals, Scott Devers. That's twice this fall he's made the top 24.
Pete Weber finishing 7th, and Randy Johnston from the lovely community of Webster Groves, St. Louis suburb, down in Missouri, $5,000 for the number 6 position. There's a good look at Billy Young Jr. from Tulsa, Oklahoma, won $31,000 last year, better than 19,000 this year. His second appearance in the TV finals this year and the third of his career, and he goes against Tom Milton in match 2. Young with that 217 average this week. That one came up short, and a problem right off the bat for Young.
And again, I hate to belabor a point, but the players are having a lot of problem adjusting the break point where the ball is starting to make its move to the pocket. It's a little different today than it has been throughout the week, and they're struggling trying to find a line to hit that pocket solid.
One of 4 players to bowl perfect games here this week, along with Steve Martin, Mark Baker, and Tom Baker, who you'll see later on.
Real close. Now, you'll see a major difference in styles here. Billy Young likes to throw the ball pretty hard. As you see him attempt that spare, very difficult at 210. He wanted to slide the 2-pin across to take out the 10. It hooks right in front at the last minute. Just misses. And Tom Milton, again, is the soft stroker. Likes to really hook the ball.
Got there, just did, boy.
It's amazing, isn't it? To throw the ball that slow, get it way out there by the channel, crossing all those boards, and still get it back.
Great to have the PBA commissioner from Akron, Ohio, Joe Antonora, here for this final fall tour event. And sitting next to him today, John Conte, the Michigan Division Manager for Anheuser-Busch. He'll be passing out the goodies later on. Start for Milton. $100,000 from our friends at True Value Hardware for a perfect game.
I'd like to see that, Jay. I think that would create, in my mind, a tremendous amount of excitement to see somebody go for that 12th shot.
Hasn't happened on television since 1974. Jim Stefanich. And Billy a little high. There you see the televised perfect games. But, I was talking with Baker, who you'll see in a short time. He had a perfect game here in the position round last night. I said, why don't you do it for us today?
I asked him about that. He says, well, it was one game too soon. If I'd have saved it for the telecast, I'd have made a lot more money. Cross lane at the 610, a lot more speed.
We got it. Billy Young, 7th year on tour, 29 years of age. He likes to bowl in this area. Last year in the Molson Golden Bowling Challenge over in Windsor, Ontario, he got a victory. He picked up his only PBA title, beating Bobby Jacks 236 to 226 in the final. They call him Junior. His dad, Billy Sr., won the ABC All Events title in '62 in Des Moines, Iowa. Way high, but he got a break.
Crossed it over, and he's completely lost out there, Jay. Tom Milton on a double has found the line, it appears, but right now Billy Young is just completely lost. He has no idea what the ball is going to do, how it's going to react. He's just guessing. He got lucky there. He's got to find something very quick, though. If Tom keeps it going, he can put a lot of pressure on Billy. Very soft, way out the back.
Oh, and looking very good. Milton's last 300 game came in Miami in 1985. He's up by 32 pins. Last year on tour for Tom was 1983. He won all 3 of his titles and earned nearly $100,000.
Now, Tom, as you watched his first 3 shots, they were all perfect, right in the pocket. This one, he increased the speed just a little bit, and that's all it took. Now, here's a repeat of that shot where he got the 210 split. Now, watch the ball. It goes a little farther down the lane, and if it gets that far, it doesn't have time or enough room to get back to the pocket.
Came just a bit short.
And you notice, Jay, when they don't get the strike, they're leaving some tough spares.
Milton is open in the 4th frame.
The front-wheel drive Dodge Lancer is the performance sedan that will thrill you all the way to the red line. Hold you to the dotted line. Cover you down the line. And impress you with its bottom line. Dodge Lancer, with prices starting at $98.52. Dodge, setting new standards of performance.
Like many before, you came here asking for just one thing.
Sadowski. Shidwosky.
A chance.
Pronounced Shidwosky.
You're gonna make it here, 'cause you make America work, and this fight's for you.
Here's to you. Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste
Hey, Sid.
that says Budweiser.
This Bud's for you.
All the excitement and raw enthusiasm of college basketball is back on NBC. Next Saturday, Joey Meyer leads the Blue Demons of DePaul into Freedom Hall to take on Denny Crum and the national champion Louisville Cardinals. College basketball, it's the stuff weekends are made of on NBC Sports.
With Earl Anthony, Jay Randolph at the Taylor Lanes, the Budweiser Touring Players Championship. Billy Young Jr. a strike in the 4th. He has a 3:10 lead here in the 5th.
Got it. And that's a great shot based on the lane condition that's out there because the ball breaks so sharply. He made a great shot there, Jay, to stay within 10 pins of Tom Milton after 5 frames. You could see you threw it very hard. Just by the expression on his face, you could see you threw the ball very hard to keep it from breaking. Perfect shot.
It kept him very much in this match. Tom Milton averaged 239.6 on the TV pair this week. As Earl has told you, the scores very high on lanes 39 and 40 for the most part. Milton, who opened with 3 in a row and then was open in the 4th, comes back with a strike here in the 5th. 278 high game this week as you look at his average 10-pin lead. $23,000 the first prize. On lane 39, a 7-10 split.
He did it in the first game, exactly the same type of shot.
That was in the 6th frame, and this happens to him in the 6th frame.
Exactly the same shot. The 5-pin goes in front of the 7. Again, the ball so far down the lane before it makes its break to the pocket. That's not an unusual leave, no, under these circumstances. And a foolish mistake there by Tom. And I think that was just out of frustration more than anything, Jay. He left a difficult spare again on what he thought was a good hit. Could have been the double that would get him a 20-pin lead. Instead, he gives up the count because he was on a strike. It cost him 2 pins instead of 1. And now he only has a 4-pin lead over Billy Young. Matter of fact, it's the other way around. Billy's got the lead by 4 now, Jay.
And Young in the 6th. Here's the 10-pin. Young, just 5'10", 155 pounds. Average 252 on the TV pair. As I mentioned, 300 game here this week. His career earnings are better than $92,000. He struggled this year. This would be a big payday for him if he could go all the way.
Getting back in the Tournament of Champions also, Jay. He and Del Ballard were the only two players in our top 5 today that were not eligible for the Tournament of Champions.
Young doesn't bowl as much on tour as he used to. He kind of picks his spots a little bit, and he feels that's helped him. I suppose it's been easy for him to get burned out, maybe.
It is. There's a lot of traveling, and the players are constantly living in hotels, eating in restaurants, on the road all the time, and it's pretty easy to lose that competitive edge. Good fundamentals. He has one of the better games on the tour as far as balance and fundamentals go. As you watch him set, good arm swing, great balance at the foul line.
The 7 is standing.
2 good shots in a row. He left a solid 10 on lane 40, comes back with a little lighter hit, doesn't get the break off the wall to carry the 7. Both those shots could have been strikes. Neither one carried for him as you see the ball going down the lane. Watch the break on the back end. They go over there and he's got him dancing, just misses the 7.
He went to Tulsa Junior College out of high school and was a very fine athlete in his high school days. Played football and was on the wrestling team. Good athlete. Ooh, all right. Milton is down by 2. We'll be back with more after this from your local station.
Hi, I'm Chevy Chase, and I'll be hosting Saturday Night Live this week.
Oh, you left out me. I'll be there, Marty Short, and also Randy Newman.
Well, my fans don't care.
Well, your fans don't care about anything.
Only Anders brings you a sale with not 1, but 2 for the season. Only Anders brings you 2 Cottage Hall sweaters for $29, or 2 Aegon von Furstenberg dress shirts for $25. Only Anders brings you 2 Yves Saint Laurent or Hardy Amy's silk ties for $15. Only Anders brings you 2 John York suits for $169, or 2 Eagle University sport coats for $139. Only Anders names all these names for less.
Some people know me because I hammer the competition. I've blocked many challengers and run rings around the competition. And here's the tool pros and serious amateurs need to hammer the competition. You too can build better scores because the hammer hits harder. So hammer the competition in league play, tournament bowling, and professional tournaments. The Hammer Ball and Hammer Sportswear is available only in finer pro shops. Pick up a Hammer Ball and a Hammer shirt today.
I'm Scott Garceau. I'll have sports, scores, and highlights tonight on Channel 2 News Weekend.
Special encore presentation of the World Pro Figure Skating Championships coming up this afternoon on Sports World. And also Marv Albert presents his Albert Achievement Awards for 1986 this afternoon on NBC Sports. Tom Milton. Milton bowling in the 7th on lane 40. And a 4-pin is standing for him.
And again, that look of, I don't know if it's disgust or frustration on Tom's face. He's just not getting the reaction that he got earlier in the week. And he's still looking a little bit, even though he's done better than the other players to this point. He's still struggling.
Milton moved into 2nd place after 6 rounds, then dropped to 3rd after the 7th and 4th after the 8th. Milton down by 2.
Something on the lane there. Doing a little house cleaning.
Tom, one of the players that is very meticulous, takes his time. He's what they call a slow player. He likes to have everything just right in his mind and on the lanes before he'll throw the ball. He'll re-rack the pins a lot. He'll fidget around out there and get that hand just right. You see him working his thumb into the ball and checking the setting of his feet.
He finished 4th in this event in '83 and 14th in '85. And no reason why you shouldn't take your time if you can do that. Tom Baker, we mentioned last night, perfect game in the position round, and he qualified 2nd. He'll meet the winner of this match.
Right now, he's probably looking forward to it, Jay, the way they're bowling, but anything can happen. And Billy Young, I think, is getting lined up now. We're getting late in the match. This is Billy's 8th frame. The player that can do it in the 9th and 10th is usually going to be the winner on the PBA Tour. Let's see what happens.
There it is. You called that, Earl. There's Jim Hunter, who's the district sales representative to Budweiser, and if that name is familiar to you, a former Detroit Lions star, he was a good one. Billy Young, a 2-pin lead. Young with the strike in the 8th. Bowling in the 9th frame. This the 2nd match of the afternoon here at Taylor Lanes.
Key shot for Billy. Now, what this does is set the stage for the 9th and 10th frame. Tom Milton is now behind by 12 pins with the 9th and 10th yet to bowl. But the most he can bowl, if he goes all the way through the end of the match with strikes, is 222, whereas Billy Young, by striking out, can shoot 224. So that strike that Billy Young got in the 9th frame makes it impossible for Tom Milton to shut him out. He can still win no matter what Tom Milton does.
On the Brooklyn side, and he leaves the 3-6-10.
You know, going to the foul line that time, it just looked like Tom was out of time completely. He didn't seem to have it all together, and he just let the ball fall off his hand, and it was well inside his target area, and he's left a difficult spare again. 3-6-10.
Picks it up. Milton is down by 12 to Billy Young Jr.
Now, Tom, if he's thinking well and he's not frustrated completely, which I know he's a professional, he's been at it a long time, he knows he has to strike out in the 10th frame for 202 to make Billy Young mark in the 10th to win. At 7-10 again, Jay.
Yes, indeed. And the 7 did go down. The 10 looked for a minute like it might have a chance to fall too, but it didn't.
That would have been the 3rd time on that lane that he would have left the 7-10 in the pocket. And Tom was very comfortable with the shot. He looked great at the foul line. He got it where he wanted it to. Behind the hit pin. Watch the 5-pin. Just barely gets the 7.
Shaking his head and a bit disgusted. Tom Milton has been a PBA member for 9 years.
As we mentioned earlier, Jay, the scores on this particular pair of lanes, 39 and 40 here, have been extremely high all week, much higher than the rest of the center. And so that's why the players have had that look of disgust, you might say, for the ball. They're just not getting the reaction they got earlier in the week. Partly that's their own fault, Jay, because they've practiced and they've carried the oil down. They've changed the shot themselves just by throwing so many balls on the pair.
Milton with a score of 191, and Young needs the mark to win. Young, who started bowling at age 6.
And a very happy winner, Billy Young Jr.
Now, I know he didn't want to have to shoot that 10-pin to win the match.
No, sir.
Tough spare today.
Not as many have done this week. Missed that 10-pin or 7-pin spare in these events here this week.
Nice way to go for Billy Young Jr.
Well, he's lined up, Jay. Look, he's looking good, and he's going to go against. He's better be looking good because he's going to go against Tom Baker, who's been really hot this fall.
A total of 222 for Young, 191 for Milton. Milton picks up $6,500.
This high-performance drink cleans your fuel system to help maintain peak performance. STP gas treatment, the high-performance drink for your car.
You gotta stop pestering me, son. I'm not what you're after. I'm a crowing chicken. Rooster, that is. You gotta go to Kentucky Fried Chicken if you want great, I say great tasting chicken. No one cooks it tender like the Colonel. But just one taste of that finger-licking good chicken and you'll never go anywhere else. There ain't no substitute for honest-to-goodness Kentucky Fried Chicken. I say Kentucky Fried Chicken. We do chicken right.
You're gonna feel the power.
Looking for fun? Bowl at Fairlanes this weekend. Get the whole gang to go with you. Short season leagues now forming at all Fairlane centers across the country.
When lightning strikes at Fairlanes, everybody wins. Lightning strikes at Fairlanes.
Lyle Alzado just got tough.
Because I started using Tegrin medicated shampoo and stopped using Head and Shoulders. Tegrin's 4 times tough. It tackles all 4 major causes of flaking and itching. Get tough with Tegrin.
Oh, the dilemma of choosing the right pregame show. She demands predictions, he the latest scoop. We in NBC Sports suggest you put as much thought into selecting a pregame show as you did when choosing your friends. Possibly more. NFL 86, the one you'll choose.
We always look forward to the fall tour on NBC because it gives us an opportunity to take a look at the PBA tour toward the end of the year. And at this time, we get a feel, of course, for who may be the rookie of the year, who may be the bowler of the year. And Earl now, I think, will have an opportunity to give us some insight regarding that. The rookie of the year honors probably going to go to McDowell. He's won more money and has a little better point average than Purvis Granger.
Right. It's been a real race all through the year for those 2 players especially, Jay, and it's come down to the last week of the year. This being our last tournament, it looks to me like McDowell's going to be the rookie of the year.
The bowler of the year, well, I think probably you have a definite idea about that.
I do. Again, it's been a great race, and we've been fortunate enough to have the last 5 stops of the year, as you mentioned, Jay. It's been exciting during these last 5 tournaments, but it looks like Walter Ray Williams all the way to me.
Williams has cashed in 23 events. He's been in 9 TV finals. Marshall Holman's cashed in 22, 5 finals for him, 5 for Cook, 5 for Husted. Gant has been very hot of late.
Gant's been the hottest player, he and Tom Baker on the fall tour. Tom Baker having another great fall, but just too late in the year to catch up. Walter Ray, to me, all the way, dominant player.
You've always felt that the one way you measure bowler of the year is in dollars and cents, and there is Walter Ray Williams Jr. way up on top ahead of Holman, Cook, Husted, and Janello.
Again, Steve Cook had a great year. Houston had a great summer. Cook just wasn't consistent all year. Marshall Holman won the Firestone. It was a big win for him. But Walter Ray Williams consistent all throughout the year with 3 wins, and he's the leading money winner.
Well, the awards, of course, will be coming out. We wish the tour the very best in 1987.
I delivered so many of your holiday circulars, I thought I'd check out these Ace Best Buys myself. My wife will love the Chicago Cutlery Gourmet Sampler.
This Quality 2 knife set is just $9.77.
And a Sharp Solar Calculator for Scotty.
Best Buy price at just $5.88.
Ah, this 13-piece drill minder set for the old man.
It's only $4.88 with a $2 rebate.
I'll be back after rounds and pick them up.
Okay.
Oh, I feel like Santa myself.
This is the place with the helpful hardware man.
Give me a light. Ooh, Bud Light. Great game.
If you just ask for a light beer, you never know what you'll get.
Pitcher of light.
Bud Light.
So if you want the list-filling light beer with the first name and taste, don't just ask for a light beer.
Give me a light.
Ask them to bring out their best.
Bud Light.
Bud Light. Because everything else is just a light.
So this is Beverly Hills, huh? Guess I'll get used to it. A rodeo's called Rodeo, and the best hotel is pink. I'm checking in, they're checking out. My machine is standing out. What's the matter with y'all? Ain't you ever seen a truck?
Beverly Hills truck. The hero has arrived. The new Dodge truck. Stars are in their eyes. Beverly Hills truck. The hero has arrived. The new Dodge truck.
Back here in Taylor, Michigan, in match 2, Billy Young Jr. with a 222 to Tom Milton's 191. And now, in the third match of the afternoon, Young will be going against Tom Baker. Booms one for a strike to get things started. Baker's last game here last night in the position round. A perfect game in the heat of the battle. $100,000 for a perfect game from True Value Hardware. And Bakes right high on the head pin in his opening shot. Here's a look at it, Earl. He's
trying to get a little extra speed there, Jay, a little harder than he normally throws, and it looked like he just kind of pulled it a little bit. This is a tough spare. He's got that sleeper back there, the 9-pin. He's got to cover the 6 and the 9 with the ball in order to convert this spare.
The 3, 6, 9, 10 doesn't get it, and Baker is open. Baker's 10th year on tour, the old smoothie from Buffalo, New York. And there you see the problem. Tom Baker on lane 39 comes back with a strike. Well, we've got Mark Williams here with us, and Mark, you've been down on the TV pair practicing a couple of moments ago, and Earl was wondering, and so was I, what's going on down there?
Well, the lanes are quite a bit slicker today than they have been during the week. We're still playing the same area of the lane. Lane 39 is especially slick. The ball doesn't finish quite as well, and scores will be a little bit lower today, but the guys are playing the same area, and they should, if they make better shots, they'll do okay.
Okay, do you think the guys that are a little straighter, like Billy Young, has a better shot than the guys that are hooking the ball?
I think so. He doesn't rely on his ball finishing as much as the rest of us do, and he seems to be lined in very well right now, and he bowled real well the last 4 games last night, better than anyone did, just to make the championship round, so he has a real good chance.
Well, you have a good chance, too, because you only have to bowl 1 game. You're in that top spot. Good luck to you. Thanks for your insight right here.
Thank you, Mark.
Mark Williams, you'll see him in the championship match. Right now, we watch Billy Young, who has opened with double. Young up by 22. 3 in a row for Billy Young Jr. Tom Baker, the perfect game last night. A 261.5 average on the TV pair this week.
This is harder than I've seen Tom Baker throw the ball in a long time, and when a player changes his natural speed, it's hard to maintain that speed, and that's what Tom's having a problem with right now. Watch him now. He'll really reach back for this more than he normally does. See him snap that wrist through there, Jay, and that ball slides well down the lane, comes in late again, as some of the other players have done. And Tom usually likes to throw the ball kind of slow like Milton, and he's really thrown it hard for him.
His 34th career championship round appearance. So Baker open in the first, open again in the third. And there's his lovely wife from Buffalo, New York, Lisa Baker, came over this morning.
You don't get a tan like that in Buffalo, do you, Jay?
I don't think so. Maybe she didn't come over from Buffalo. Maybe she came in from Miami, or
maybe she came from one of those little closets they get in to get one of those, whatever they're.
Baker strikes back on lane 39, and we'll be back with more action from the Taylor lanes right after this.
Car carry people, we know who we are.
Here's where Quaker State's unique engine protection formula goes to work for you.
We got what it takes, we know what's best. We're the ones who won't settle for less.
For top quality, state-of-the-art motor oil protection, special formula Quaker State.
We're Quaker State people, reaching for the best.
Mark! Hey, Mark! I see you got one of those rhinos. Next thing you know, he's going to tell us it's got horns.
Unleash your game. Roll a rhino. The Rhino. From Brunswick, a urethane ball designed for professional and high-performance bowlers.
Power and long life. That's what you get from Interstate Batteries. With service all across America, Interstate means power and long life. Get Interstate. Take power.
If you swallow a cold pill for your stuffed nose, you have to wait for it to travel all through your body before it gets to your nose. But Tristan long-lasting nasal spray gives you fast relief right on the nose.
NBC Sports World presents a gathering of the world's great figure skaters. Scott Hamilton, dance sensation Torville and Dean, Dorothy Hamill, and more. Relive the magic of the World Professional Figure Skating Championships on NBC Sports World.
Billy Young Jr. opened with a turkey, left the 4-pin in the fourth, and got the spare, and now has left the 6-10 here in the fifth, Earl.
Yeah, you see the ball again breaking very sharply. They're still having problems controlling the break point, but as Mark Williams mentioned when we had him here talking, the advantage is slightly to the player that can throw hard and straight. I think that's why Tom Baker is trying to do that. He's tried to up his speed and go very straight to compete with Billy Young on this pair of lanes right now.
Baker open in the first and the third, a strike in the fourth, down 43 pins. He was second here last year. Always seems to do very well on the fall tour. Two in a row for Baker. He's won better than $51,000 this year on tour and better than $550,000 in his career. Baker down by 33. Baker was in 9th place after the 6th round, in 4th after the 7th. Moved into 2nd. That perfect game last night. Ten pin. He thought he had it.
He sure did, and I thought he had it too, Jay. He threw it extremely well. It was his chance to get back in the match with that strike.
There's Lisa and her reaction. Baker's 300 game last night brought the 86 total to 95 on the national tour. That's the same number that was rolled last year. Baker also rolled a 300 game in the final round of match play in the 83 Indianapolis Open when he qualified second. Billy Young Jr. Four-pin.
Both players playing out near the 5 board and throwing the ball harder than they normally would. And Billy, as you can see him stretch out and lift very hard through the ball. Thought he made a good shot, and he did make a good shot. The lane surface playing a little more difficult, as we mentioned earlier, than it has during the week. The players have to make better shots to keep the ball in play.
Our 5 finalists today have a combined 14 wins on tour. 7 by Baker, 3 by Milton, 3 by Williams, 1 by Billy Young Jr. Del Ballard was looking for his first career win here today. He takes down the 5,500 in the 5th spot. Milton finishing 4th, 6,500. Billy Young up by 33 pins. That was high. He leaves the 9-pin this time.
Now, Billy, I'm sure wasn't happy with that shot. Even though he got it on his target line, Jay, he threw it right where he was looking, but he set the ball down very short, very early on the lane. And when you do that, the ball hooks early. So you see it starting to move already to the left, where normally it's been well down the lane past that point. And when it hooks early, it generally goes left of the head pin.
Two-pin lead for Young. Back with more after this from your local station.
Sunday, come home for the holidays when Andy Williams takes you on a search for the real Santa. Andy Williams and the NBC Kids Search for Santa Sunday.
In early 1986, the United States Auto Club tested the Volkswagen Quantum against the BMW 325e, Volvo 240DL, and Nissan Maxima SE in 5 different performance categories. In total points scored, Quantum beat the Maxima, beat the Volvo, and tied the BMW, a car costing almost $9,000 more. So look for an exceptional deal now on the Volkswagen Quantum. Test it yourself and drive home a winner.
See your nearest Volkswagen dealer and drive home a winner. Looking for fun? Bowl at Fairlanes this weekend. Get the whole gang to go with you. Short season leagues are now forming.
When lightning strikes at Fairlanes, everybody wins. Lightning strikes at Fairlanes.
Watch Wheel of Fortune tonight at 7.
Tom Baker bowling in the 8th frame. Got it. Well, that was his biggest break of the day. Look at the smile on Baker's face. A strike in the all-important 8th here, and he's going, woo, look at this.
Watch these pins just push each other down, Jay. See, now watch this. Here they go. They just kind of fall on each other like I'm just too tired to stand up, I think.
Look at the smile.
Big break there for Baker.
Baker is down by 33. Billy Young Jr. now in the 8th on lane 40.
Got that one out in front of him, Jay.
Oh, and he almost got a break, too.
Well, he almost got a bad break, too.
Yeah.
He almost had the 4-9 there, and on a ball that really finished strong. Now, here you see Billy Young going to the foul line. Now, watch him get the ball out in front this time. He didn't set it short. He expected it to be a great shot, and it was. But look at that sharp break on the back. He was really surprised when he left the 4-pin.
He left a 4-pin in the 4th, a 4-pin in the 6th. Here's a 4-pin for him in the 8th. Young doesn't practice as much as most of the PBA pros. He practices about 10 games a week.
10 games a week?
That's what he told me.
I used to use that much just to get warmed up, Jay.
Well, it's interesting. Take a guy like Tom Baker, he'll bowl about 90 games a week. Young is leading by 32. Young, who defeated Tom Milton to get into this match against Baker.
Now, there he made a move on the approach. He tried to get a little deeper into the middle of the lane, and he sent the ball wide, expecting it that sharp break that he got in the previous frame when the ball crossed over on the head pin. Now watch this. He sets it down more toward the center, sends it out, and it stays there. Now this is the difficulty the players are having. They're not getting the reaction they expect. They make a move and something strange happens, and it's a very confusing situation for the bowlers. Difficult spare here, and a very important spare. He must pick this up to have a chance to win the match. Believe it or not, at this point, Billy Young has to have this spare.
Baker has a strike working in the 8th. Young looking at a 2-5.
Oh, that was close, Jay.
It was close.
That was a heart stopper.
30-pin lead for Billy Young Jr. Sports World coming up next. You'll see Dorothy Hamill, Scott Hamilton, Robin Cousins, and many more in the World Pro Figure Skating Championships.
Gotta have it.
And Baker bangs them down.
Still in the match.
2 in a
here.
row, and he is very much in it.
20 pins down, but Tom Baker can strike out for a 212 total score. Billy Young going at a 212 pace.
Got a possible tie.
Possible tie. Billy Young cannot be shut out. Tom Baker can shoot 212, as you see the scoreboard. Billy Young can strike out in the 10th for 222, but currently going at a 212 pace. Tom Baker needs them all. Again.
Oh, that 10-pin won't go.
Boy, he almost had the 7 and the 10. Then he only had the 10, and they almost went down. And what a bad break for Tom Baker at this point, because he did make a good shot. He got the ball in play, which has been very difficult to do on lane 39. And he got it to the pocket, thought he had a strike. He was running it out a little bit. And he pretty much had to have that one to put some pressure on Billy Young.
He's a marvelous fella. And Billy Young in the driver's seat, though. Baker enjoys playing the horses, something he and I have in common. He also likes hockey.
All right, with the count ball here, a total of 190 for Tom Baker. Billy Young needs to stay behind the foul line and keep the ball on the lane.
He needs 4.
And he's going to be a winner. Stranger things have happened. So we're going to watch him.
Tom Baker goes down to defeat as Billy Young Jr. will move into the championship match. Baker, finishing 3rd, wins $8,000, and it'll be Young coming up against Williams.
going down a road behind the wheel of the new Dodge Dakota. It's the first true midsize pickup ever made. Inside, room for 3. And with optional 3.9-liter V6, the Dakota doesn't shy away from hard work. Cross into Dakota territory. Dodge Dakota, the new state of the American truck.
When it comes to do-it-yourself projects, rely on True Value Hardware Store's professional quality master mechanic tools and their customer guarantee.
Give our heavy-duty power tools like this 3/8-inch variable speed reversing drill for only $27.99. This 7 1/4-inch circular saw is lightweight, powerful, and just $42.99. And this finishing sander for only $39.99 gets the job done fast.
Get master mechanic tools exclusively at most True Value Hardware Stores and home centers.
This season, Kodak proudly brings you the richest, most radiant color ever in 200-speed film. New Kodacolor VRG 200, the color of life.
Sunday, the NFL plays here when the Jets battle the 49ers.
Before your team takes the field, our team hits the air. NFL 86.
Back at the Taylor Lanes, Taylor, Michigan, with Earl Anthony J. Randolph. Billy Young Jr., a score of 200, defeats Tom Baker 190. Young moving into the championship match. NBC Sports presents the Bowling Forum, and today it's brought to you by Budweiser. Budweiser, for that clean, crisp taste. Yes, this Bud's for you. And this afternoon, Earl Anthony and Jay Randolph have in the middle of us a man who has meant so much to the PBA Tour, Bud Fischer, Public Relations Director of the Tour for 27 years, who is packing it in, retiring, so to speak, but you'll be around some.
Well, I hope so, Jay. You know, we were talking a little bit before we went on the air here. What will I miss? Well, I'm going to miss the activity, Jay, but I'm not going to miss getting to the activity and getting back from it. That's the biggest thing.
That's right. Earl, you, of course, are now at the microphone describing action on the PBA Tour, but even when you were out here on tour, you knew how much Bud Fischer meant to the tour.
Well, all the bowlers know what Bud, everybody with the PBA knows what Bud has meant to the tour for those 27 years. He was almost like one of the guys that founded it. He was right there with Eddie Elias. He made things happen, and without his travel, getting there in advance of all the tournaments and making sure they were set up right, the tour could never have operated as well as it did.
Well, I know everybody in the media, both in the electronic journalism world and the print media, are grateful to this man for all he's done to help over the years. But I'm wondering, is there any one experience, there's so many, I'm sure. Someday you're going to write a book, I know, but any one experience that stands out in your mind?
Oh, there's several, Jay. It's tough to really pinpoint any one, but the man on my left here, Earl Anthony, we were sitting down in Toledo 7 or 8 years ago when he became the first pro bowler to break the $1 million barrier in official earnings, and there was Don Johnson's $2.99 game in the Firestone Tournament of Champions, and we had 50 working newspaper men there, and, you know, they laughingly accused us of fixing the tournament, you know, just for their benefit. And there's just been so many over the years, it's tough to pinpoint more than one or two of them.
It's amazing the prize money we're playing for today.
Well, you know, some years ago, many years ago, Joe Antonora, our commissioner, and Eddie and I were sitting around talking after Don Carter won $49,000 in 1 year, and we thought, boy, that's a lot of money. We wonder if anybody will ever be able to top that in 1 year. And now we have players competing for more than that in just one tournament. So it's amazing. And I'd like to take just a minute to kind of tip the PBA hat to all of our sponsors around the country. They work hard, and bowling centers are not built for spectators, and we and our local sponsors have learned to make do with the facilities that we have available. And we play to big crowds, and I think the acceptance of professional bowling as a major sport has really made it all worthwhile.
Oh, Bud, thank you. This man has traveled over 4 million miles in his career as the PR man for the PBA Tour. He's a Hall of Famer, and he's a wonderful, wonderful human being. Thanks to you, Bud Fischer.
Jay, thank you, and thanks, Earl.
All right, and let's get now to the championship match. Billy Billy Young Jr. will go against Mark Williams. As always on NBC Sports, uninterrupted coverage of the championship match. This final event on the PBA Fall Tour, final event of 1986. And Young starts off in fine fashion. This event does end the PBA Tour, but the Fairlanes National Resident Pro Championship is set for December 12th through the 14th out in Phoenix. That ends the entire season. It is for the resident professionals only.
Now here's a contrast in styles, Jay. Watch this young man hook the ball.
Mark Williams, 6'1", 175 pounds, 28 years of age, from Beaumont, Texas, his 6th year on tour.
Now watch Mark Williams go to the foul line. You can see the concentration. He tucks the ball behind his hip, lays it down the center of the lane, and sends it clear out near the channel. Look at the rotation on that ball. It looks like it's got a motor on it.
His high game, 289 this week. He averaged 226.5 on the TV pair. Williams opens with a double. Earl is an advantage for him. Of course, he's had a chance to bowl a little bit on the TV pair along the way here today, but also he's had a chance to watch this entire activity up to now.
It's an advantage for the leader in one aspect, Jay, that he gets to sit out and only has to bowl one match on the television pair. The disadvantage is the lanes do change as the players are bowling, and he has to come over and find them, while the player that won the match before already knows what the changes are.
Billy Young trying to come from the number 3 spot. He opens with 2. Young with scores of 222 and 200, averaging 211 here this afternoon. True Value Hardware Stores. The great folks be happy to pay out $100,000 for a perfect game here this afternoon. 1974, as we showed you earlier in the telecast, Jim Stefanich, the last man to have a perfect game on TV. Young, a little bit high, and he left the 3-pin. The Pro-Am held earlier this week, as we look again at Young, was sponsored, Earl, by the Detroit News, who have just done a splendid job here. They had over 1,500 entries. And
that's a lot of people, Jay. And not only that, but bowling in Detroit, St. Louis, Chicago, New York City, cities like that, it's just a major sport. And they really support the tournaments well.
Spare in the 3rd. And the average leaders, Gant, who's been hot this fall, and young Amleto Monticelli from down in Venezuela with a 212.8. Mark Williams going for 3 in a row. And it's high, and he left the 6-pin.
Again, the contrasting styles between these two players. Mark Williams playing the center lane and sending it out near the channel. Billy Young going straight down the edge of the channel, out by the 5 board. Both players trying to get the ball to the same break point on the lane, but they're getting there in completely different manners. Mark Williams
very much under control, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. He's a very cool, calm player, and I don't think there's a player on the tour that has more confidence in his own ability, Jay. He's always confident, and he loves to bowl on television. He feels he's a winner on television.
Young needs a win today to requalify for the Firestone Tournament of Champions. Gotta hurry. He gets there. NBC Sports exclusive, the uninterrupted coverage of this championship match.
And it looks like it's going to be a good one, Jay. It's dead even at this point.
Billy, as we mentioned earlier, won his only tournament across the river, Windsor, Ontario. he can win here today, it will mean so much to him. That was looking good. Even Steven here in the early going between Billy Young and Mark Williams.
As so often happens in the championship match, it tends to come down to the last 2 frames, and whoever can perform under the pressure in the 9th and 10th usually is the winner. And this is the way it looks like it's going right now, Jay.
Came up a little short. Well, we visited with Bud Fisher earlier in this telecast, a man who's meant so much to the PBA, and I want to say thanks too to John Campos and Jim Collins, who do such a splendid job in providing us with the statistics. They do a splendid job handling the media operations. Of course, to tournament director Harry Golden. The Goose will be heading for Las Vegas. Day or two.
Most of the problems the players have had throughout the telecast have been on the left-hand lane, lane 39 here at Taylor Lanes. 39 seems to have broken down more. In other words, the oil has moved around more drastically than on lane 40. So the players are trying to play a little deeper, more toward the middle of the lane. They seem to be able to hit the pocket on 40, but they're struggling on 39. Mark Williams on lane 40.
Williams, who opened with 2 and had a spare in the 3rd, comes back with 2 more strikes in the 4th and 5th for a 10-pin lead. Figure skating, what a beautiful sport that is. You'll see Dorothy Hamill and Scott Hamilton and others coming up on Sports World. Tomorrow, of course, it's a doubleheader on NBC. Football action. Week 14 of the NFL.
Big break for Mark Williams. Tripped the 4-7 out. The ball was a little high in the head pin, but that ball almost stopped. Almost a rollout shot. The ball came into the pocket, and by rollout, I mean it lost its hooking action. Watch the ball kind of set up on the head pin. Doesn't cut through. Trips the 4-7. Big break for Mark at this point.
Split. That was high, and Young knew he was in trouble. The 4-6-10.
There's one, Jay, where he knew when he let go of the ball. He got his elbow out to the side a little bit. When you do that, that makes you set the ball short, go over the top of it, and invariably you get some kind of a bad break like that, the 4-6-10.
Well, an excellent try by Young, but the first open frame in this championship match.
Watch that 6-pin go flying across the lane just behind the 4-pin.
I want to say special thanks, and I mean real gratitude, to our television coordinator, PBA Hall of Famer Chuck Pisano, who's been again with us this year. Strike in the 7th. He is down 34 pins, and Williams looking very good, trying to win from the #1 spot. He's won better than $29,000 this year. Last year, he won more than $123,000. Won last year's Firestone. Looks like it's his day.
It sure does. He's really stroking the ball well. He's moved inside on the lane surface. He's not playing the big hooking, sweeping type release that he was playing earlier in the week. He's still moving the ball pretty hard on the back end, but he's more toward the third arrow, between the second and third arrow, than out by the 5 board where he's been playing all week.
As a 44-pin lead. Hope you enjoyed the action of the Fall Tour on NBC. Want to thank our director Brian Sipe and producer Glenn Adamo and the wonderful folks at Bud Sports who have co-produced these events. Three-pin is standing for Williams as he gets a nice round of applause for his run here in this championship match.
Watch the ball go a little high. Now that's the lane they're having the most problem with, lane 39, and it would seem that the player that can conquer 39 is going to win this. It's not over yet, folks. It's a long way to go in this championship match.
Williams will go over the $250,000 mark in career earnings if he can take down the top prize here today. $23,000 for first place, $12,000 for second. Young needs the strike in the 8th.
Looks good.
Oh, boy, that 10-pin is just standing there, and you have to wonder why.
Well, Billy really made a great shot under the circumstances. He knows he knew at this point that he needed every strike the rest of the way to create any kind of a pressure situation for Mark Williams in the 10th frame. He made a great shot, as you see on the replay. 10-pin stands up. Now he's really in trouble.
One other thank you I need to get in as we look at Mark Williams, super statistician, the man from Texas, Mr. Chuck Pierce, who has been with us at our side throughout the Fall Tour and actually been with us for the last 3 years. He doesn't get any older. It's amazing. Billy Young down by 43.
Hit the tough lane twice in a row, and he got tapped on the lane that he's been striking on, and it's just a shame that Billy didn't carry that 10-pin, because we would have had really a great match going into the last 2 frames if he'd have carried the 10-pin in the 8th frame. As it stands, a 43-pin lead right now for Mark Williams, with only the 9th and 10th left to bowl for him.
Gives no quarter here today as he's headed for his 4th title. Nice payday, it looks like, though, for Young, $12,000. And for Young, it will put him over the $30,000 mark on the year. The winner, Mark Williams from Beaumont, Texas. He'll take down $23,000.
Howdy. Give me a light. Bud Light.
If you just ask for a light beer, you never know what you'll get.
Give me a light. A Bud Light.
So if you want the less filling light beer with the first name and taste, don't just ask for a light beer.
Give me a light. Bud Light.
Ask for Bud Light, because everything else is just a light.
Hi. Oh. Buy your friend a beer.
A bowler's greatest enemy, lane conditions. Difficult, changing, unpredictable. But there's a ball that handles it all. The AMF angle. Urethane control, urethane hitting power. Devastating on any lane condition. #1 total winner on the Winter Pro Tour over the past 5 years. Don't be left in the past. Hundreds of thousands of bowlers have chosen the Black Angle to get better scores. The AMF Black Angle. At your bowling pro shop, the angle strikes again.
All the excitement and raw enthusiasm of college basketball is back on NBC. Next Saturday, Joey Meyer leads the Blue Demons of DePaul into Freedom Hall to take on Denny Crum and the national champion Louisville Cardinals. College basketball, it's the stuff weekends are made of on NBC Sports. Well, a reminder that the World Pro Figure Skating Championships and the Albert Achievement Awards are coming up for you next on Sports World. This championship coming to a close here. Here's the championship result and the victory for Mark Williams with a score of 246 over Billy Young at 214. And very quickly, we will get the presentation made here as we have John Conte, the division manager for Michigan for Anheuser-Busch, and you just hand him that big trophy.
Thank you very much. On behalf of Budweiser, this trophy's for you.
You stole my line from a week ago. Mark, congratulations.
Thank you very much. I'd just like to thank Budweiser for making this a truly great week. We really enjoy our sponsors, and haven't had a beer in quite a few years, but I think I'll have a few tonight.
Oh, that sounds good, I'll tell you. And here's Mrs. DiBiase with the check.
Here you go. Congratulations. You bowled great all week. You deserve it.
Our champion is Mark Williams. Our congratulations to him. The PBA Fall Tour has been sponsored by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. By Brunswick. Brunswick, making bowling better. By Quaker State. The big Q stands for quality, always has and always will. And by Dodge, America's best back trucks are Ram Tough. A reminder again, coming up next, Sports World, the World Pro Figure Skating Championships, and tomorrow, of course, a doubleheader football action, NFL, right here on NBC. For Earl Anthony, Jay Randolph saying so long from the Taylor Lanes in Taylor, Michigan, and reminding you that this has been a production of Bud Sports and the PBA Incorporated, produced in association with NBC.